Hello folks, this is Jamil for Gunstock Reviews. We're here in Phoenix, Arizona at the Ben Avery Shooting Facility with Freddie Blish. How you doing, buddy?
Jamil.
We're continuing, Freddie, with our series on dry practice.
Yes.
I have to think about that because so many years of saying dry fire.
I know. Yeah.
It has to sink in. And today we're going to talk about speed reloads.
Yes. They're sometimes referred to as a emergency reload or a combat reload, but the original name was a speed reload. And what it is that a tactical reload, we did it on our time. We had time, we had opportunity, we had cover. But now a speed reload, I'm having to do it. I'm in a gunfight, I run dry, but the other guy's still shooting at me. Okay, so whose time am I doing it on now?
Yeah.
Yeah, and how much time do I have? The rest of my life.
Yeah,
that's how much time I have, the rest of my life. So what we want to now do is work on doing proper speed reloads. So part of your dry practice, you should incorporate this. And what we'll do when we do this is you want to try to do at least, again, 10 to 15 repetitions, but you want them to be good repetitions. And when you first start off, don't put yourself under a timer. Really work on doing them properly, but then, as you're getting your training regimen, work on doing them with a shot timer, and you can set it up with a par time. And I've got this where I'll set the gun up, slide will be locked to the rear, so demonstrating an empty gun. I'll hit the delay button here, it'll start, and on beep, I'm gonna now try to do a speed reload and do it in this case, I have it set for 3.5 seconds, but you could start off at 5 seconds, 4.5, 4, whatever it is, and build up to, ideally, if you're hitting speed reloads, in the 2 to 3 second realm, you're doing really well. That's that's kind of the master class or better realm that competitive shooters are doing that in. So again, it's not about going fast; it's about being efficient with the movement.
Yeah, and speed reloads, or what I fondly call the oh crap reload.
Yes.
Because, oh crap, I ran out of bullets and bad guy is out there trying to make my life shorter.
Yes.
And so we're going to go ahead and, in competition, we used to do speed reloads everywhere.
Right.
There were, we had 10 rounds in the magazine, dump it, because competition, we want to do it fast, okay?
Right.
But I understand that in that situation you have ammo left in your magazine, do a tactical reload and retain that ammo.
Yes.
In IDPA that is used quite a bit.
Right. Reload with retention.
With retention. And so I think this working with speed reloads is very important too, because you run out of BBs. What are you going to do?
Yeah.
How efficient are you in getting back in the fight?
Back in the fight.
So let's go ahead and do it.
All right. All right, the first thing we should do is make sure we have a condition 4 pistol, but this time it'll be a little bit different. I'm going to lock it to the rear, make sure there's nothing in the chamber, and in this case, instead of an empty mag well, I've got an empty magazine. Mm-hmm. Okay.
So you're completely,
I'm completely unloaded. Now I'm going to check to make sure that my magazine that I'm going to do the speed reload with has only the dry practice ammunition. All right, so what I want to do now is I'm going to start, I'll be aimed in at whatever target is I'm using. Okay, I've simulated that the gun has run dry. Bring the gun to my workspace. I may have to rotate the gun in my hand so that the bony part of my thumb can reach the magazine release. So based on the size of someone's hand, depends on how much they have to rotate
and
that.
Depending on the pistol too.
Right. Once I've done that, so as I'm doing that, this support hand is coming down to that magazine. And I grip that magazine, I bring it up, the base of the magazine's in the palm of my hand, so that way it's in line with the forearm, because that's what's going to push it in there. My finger is straight along the front of the magazine, so I can point it into the magazine well. What I don't want to do is hold it like a Hershey bar, because it's going to be really hard to get it into the mag well. So again, I bring that magazine up. Once it's on its way, I hit the magazine release. They pass like 2 ships in the night. I can either just roll the hand like this, come over the top, rack it, re-grip back in the fight, or you can either use your strong or support side thumb after you seat it to hit the slide stop and allow the slide to go forward. Downside to using the slide stop is that you have metal on metal parts and they'll eventually wear, and then your slide stop will no longer lock your slide to the rear. In a Glock, not a big deal, $35 part, plug and play. With 1911 or other guns that need to have the parts fitted, well, it's a lot more expensive. So it depends. This way is a little slower. Hitting my slide stop with my support thumb could be a little faster, provided I don't, engage it too soon. Sometimes, depending on the guns, Berettas and Beretta 92s and Glocks, you seat that magazine firmly and the slide goes forward.
Yeah.
That happens, hey, that's a gift from God, go with it.
Yeah.
Sometimes though, if you're used to running your slide stop with your strong side thumb, we've seen it, people will seat that mag, but they'll actually hit the slide stop before the mag's fully seated, and then slide goes forward on an empty chamber. And then they get the click instead of the bang.
Yeah.
And then they got to go into stoppage clearance, which we'll cover in a different one. But for dry practice, when you're doing this, what you want to do is, start with a pistol that has an empty mag in the gun. So I'm going to reset this up. This is a good time also when you practice your tack reloads. So I'll tack reload that empty mag into the gun, put the magazine that's got the bullets, the dummy rounds in there. I'll go ahead and lock that slide to the rear. Visually make sure there's nothing in the chamber. I've got a condition 4 pistol. The only difference is the mag is in the gun. I'm aimed in. Bring it to my workspace, grab that fresh magazine, drop, seat, rack, back into the fight. Now, after I've done that, say 10 times, and if you want to use the slide stop method, you can. It is, like I said, slightly faster. And, if I'm being perfectly honest here, when I am shooting competition, I do use it because it is slightly faster. And so I'll demonstrate it this time, just hitting the slide stop with my support side thumb. So slides locked to the rear, workspace, drop mag, seat, go forward, and now I'm back into the fight. Now, once you've kind of got the skill set mastered where you're doing it proficiently, and you don't have any, you've kind of worked out all of the rough edges. Now, if you want, you could put yourself under time. And so, again, I will tack load a empty mag in the gun, set this up, and lock that slide to the rear. All right. Now what I'll do is using a timer, I've got it set at 3.5 seconds. Let's see if I am proficient enough here to master this. So I was under 3.5 seconds. If I do that 5 times in a row, hey, maybe it's time for me to go to 3 seconds. Yeah. And work on continuing to get my speed where I need to be when I'm doing my dry practice with the speed reload.
And coming back to the speed reloads, there's, like I say, there's so many situations in which you need to perform that speed reload, but like in competition, we do it because we can.
Yes.
Okay. Here is because we have to. The slide stop, slight release thing. A lot of people call it slide release. It's called a slide stop. I agree that you could do it, yep. But what if you have a pistol that doesn't have a slide stop?
Or the slide stop is in a different location, like SIGs. Mm-hmm. And you're used to running a Glock or a 1911 where it's in a different location, and now you pick up a SIG, and now you're actually hitting the disassembly lever and not the slide stop.
Yeah.
So the overhand method is more assured, plus it allows me to retract the slide about another 1/4 inch. It allows that full compression of the spring, the main recoil spring, and then it'll more affirmatively chamber the round.
And I was watching a video the other day, and the reminder was, if you're doing the overhand, mm-hmm. make sure you don't have a shock buff on your pistol.
Yes.
Because that will prevent you from going back, yep. and disengaging that slide stop.
That's correct.
Because the shock buffs, there was a gunsmith here in town the
Yeah.
late great Guy Hammond, that if you brought him a pistol with a shark buff, he will remove it and give you back your pistol, and a shark buff had a little tie
Yeah.
to your trigger guard. Like, take this piece of crap off. This is
Yeah,
useless.
it's
Don't
useless.
use this.
Exactly.
Well, thanks for great training, Freddie. I do appreciate your time and your knowledge, of course. And guys, definitely thanks for watching. Please remain healthy, stay safe, and definitely have fun at the range.